Good morning, happy Monday. I am here to show you proper placement for your contour. So as you can see, I am here with a total blank face, blemishes at all, but I'm gonna go and put my highlights on and show you a really quick and easy way of the proper placement for contour, the do's, the don'ts, where to put it, where not to put it, because I know when it comes to contouring, that is the most intimidating part, is the contouring. So I'm gonna get to it. If you are joining in, say hello. Let me know where you're from. Excuse me. I've had this like nagging cold and it's like right in here. It's very annoying. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna get started quick. I'm gonna put my highlights on and then I will show you the different placement techniques for your contour. So first off, I'm gonna go in. You can see I've got some really big doozies right over here over this weekend. That's always nice. And I'm just going to quickly go in and color correct these little blemishes, just pressing this color right into there. I'm also gonna put this right into my nose because I tend to get a little bit right on my nose, no matter how much SPF I use. Okay, then I'm going in with my two highlight colors. So this is my main color here. Just gonna quick put this on. I meant to come on here with my highlights already on, and then I got busy color matching and lost track of time. So I was like, oh, well, I guess you'll just have to watch me do my highlights too. Good thing they don't take very long. Okay, highlight on. I'm just putting it on my jawline and my T-zone. Then I'm gonna go in with my brightening highlight right underneath my eye, just placing a little bit on the inside and outside corner of my eye, also on my lid. And then I'm gonna go, oh, I've got like paint. My son was painting this morning. And so I've got paint all over my hands. And then I'm just gonna go on and stipple this under eye, making sure it gets into all the little fine lines and wrinkles, covers up those dark circles. I had it was a really great weekend, but it was really busy. So I am feeling like I need an extra cup of coffee. Okay, here we go. I feel like I need some good music behind me. Okay, so we got this highlight on there now, my brightening highlight. I'm gonna just bring a little bit down my nose, just really brighten this whole area up. Okay, now that we got that on, I'm gonna go right into contour. Now, if you have questions as we go about contouring, the proper placement, maybe you've been struggling with your contour placement, this is the place to ask. I'm gonna help you, okay? So there's two different brushes that I like to use for contour. You don't have to use both in one makeup sitting, but these are the two that I tend to go to. So I either use the detail brush. I need to clean this brush off. So I either use this one, the small end of my detail brush, or I like to, oh, that's setting spray. Let's not set it. Let's just clean it. Or I like to use a smudge brush. And this is the brush that I have been using a lot lately, and people are always like, what brush is that? And it's because it's the most underrated brush. I think it's probably, I don't actually know this for sure, but I think it's probably one of the brushes that gets overlooked the most, just because people don't know what to use it for. But I love using it for my highlights and my contour. So if you are in a really, you need to do your makeup really quickly, I like to just do the dot method. I do highlights on one and contour on the other. So I'm going to use the smudge brush today. This is also a really good brush to use for your eyes. So if you are looking to invest in brushes but don't want all of them, this is a really good one to get. Okay, so I've got my contour right here. I'm going to take my brush, kind of dig it in there. And the whole purpose of contour is to lift up these cheekbones. We're really wanting to define this area of your face. When you do that, it will help elongate your face. It'll bring dimension to it. And the whole thing of contouring. So often I get ladies being like, well, I want the highlights and the blush and the lipstick, but I don't want the contour because I don't want to look like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. And I will tell you, it looks more like you're wearing makeup when you're not wearing contour than when you are. And the reason being is the contour is just accentuating the areas in our face that we naturally have shadows. It's just accentuating that. It's bringing more dimension, and that's what makes your face look more natural rather than just putting one color on your face. It looks super one-dimensional, and we're not a one-dimensional person. We are a three-dimensional person. So that's where contour is actually going to help it look more natural. So I'm going to go in and on this side of your face, you know what, I need to just do this so I don't have my hair in my face here. On this side of my face, I'm going to do what you shouldn't do. On this side of my face, I'm going to do what you should. So one of the biggest things is that people will just put their contour too low. So you're just putting it like right there. What I suggest and recommend doing is you're going to put it high. You want to tuck it directly underneath that cheekbone. So if you're having a hard time finding where it is, either find like where your ear kind of connects to your face, you're going to go on a diagonal, or just touch your face. There's my cheekbone, and then it goes under right after. So I'm going to go right here on a diagonal like that. See how much higher that is? Now, if you are like still like, I can't find my cheekbone, just go right on top of your cheekbone. It's better to go a little bit up than it is down. And I'll show you that once I blend. Now, another thing, we don't want to blend down because that's going to just accentuate this part of your face. See, it's like almost accentuating my jowl as opposed to my cheekbone. So when you are blending, blend up, or like I like to do like little circular rotations, but I keep my brush up on an angle rather than going like this. So I'm just going to go like this and push it up. And I'm just going to bring in a little bit more. This is where I love this, is because you can kind of build on it if you want it darker. And I like to have my contour nice and dark. But see how it's just playing on those natural shadows? But look at the difference. When I go like this, I didn't even blend that out very well. Or this. It just totally lifts up my cheek, whereas here it's like literally defining my jowl. Not what you want to do. The next is to do your, on top of your, what is this called? What's this place called? Forehead. So one thing is you can play with the shape of your face. So everybody who's doing it on their forehead is going to be doing it a little bit different, but you really want to just keep it nice and close to that forehead. You don't want to bring it too far down, but this is where you can really play with it. So if you have a really high forehead, you can bring your contour a lot farther down than maybe I want to. And the reason being is it'll create that shadow, and so it'll make it look like you have a smaller forehead. If you have a very short forehead, then maybe you want to just do a really small line at the top, or maybe you want to skip the forehead at all. Now, if you have, it depends on your face shape. For me, I have quite a heart-shaped face, so this part of my face goes like this. So I like to bring a little bit of my contour right in here, and so when I blend it all, it actually makes my face or my forehead narrow up here. But if you don't have that, then you don't need to worry about bringing a little bit more contour in here. So for me, something that would be something that I don't want to do is bring this too far down, bring the shadow too far down, because it's going to really make my forehead look so much smaller and isn't going to give me that dimension I want. So I'm going to go in, I'm just going to blend this out just like this. And here, I'm just going to blend this. Sometimes I wonder if if my phone picks this up. So I'm just going to make it a little bit darker so that you can really see it in your phone. Okay, so I keep it right nice there. I've tucked it up so that you have that dimension. And then over on this side, I've brought it down a lot further. So it kind of almost gets rid. It doesn't give my face a whole lot of shape. I just look super dark in here. Now I've got it lowered, but this has just lifted up my face. Now I'm going to do my chin. So one thing when people are doing their contour is that they will just trace on the top of their face, kind of like this. Okay. Now see, when I do that, you actually see my natural shadow here. So it's not helping your face. It's not chiseling out your face. And if anything, it's accentuating this little area between on top of my face and my natural shadow, and really like making it look like I have a second chin. We don't want to do that. Whereas here, I recommend going directly underneath your jawline. See the difference of when you do that? It just chisels it right out. And then when I go in and blend, I like to blend right down into my neck. This is going to be quite the interesting face shape over here. And then I'm just going to blend it out here. Okay, really doesn't do anything. I've contoured here, but you can almost, it looks like I've actually accentuated this. You can see my, like, I really actually made myself a second chin, totally by accident. Well, not by accident, but this is, like a big don't when it comes to contouring. And this is why people get nervous. And so about contouring, because they don't want to do the wrong thing. So don't put that one right on top of your face. Go underneath the jawline, and it'll make a world. I don't want to go this way. I just gave myself a second chin. Okay, I'm old and have jowls and a double chin. Okay, well, that's where contour comes in, and you can play with the shadows. So rather than doing this and accentuating them, you can actually contour it so that it minimizes that look. Now I'm going to do my nose. And I'm going to show you on this side, a big mistake people make is they put the contour on the side of their nose. So as soon as I've done that, see how it just made my whole nose look a lot wider? Because it's picking up the natural shadow on here, and it's just made this part of my nose look so much wider. So what I recommend is actually going and go right on the bridge of your nose where it starts to turn down. So not on the side of your nose, but on the bridge, just like this. So as soon as you do that, it's actually narrow. Now I've got just a very funny shaped nose because I've got it on the wrong side here and the right side here. But this will just make it look so much slimmer, and it's not going to make it look like you have a wider set nose than you actually need. So when I blend this out, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this. And now I've actually just given myself a crooked nose based on where I place my contour. Isn't that amazing? So I'm actually going to go and bring this now up a little bit closer onto that bridge of my nose. We'll even this out so I haven't given myself a crooked nose. So if you do have naturally, maybe you have a little bump on your nose, maybe you do have a crooked nose, you can use contour to straighten it out and give that effect that it's thinner, that it's straight, just by the place that just by the areas that you place your contour. So if you have, it's hard for me to show you now that I've actually contoured my nose and I don't have a bump, but if you, like you saw how I put that there, if you do, you just put your shadows in different areas. So if you had a bump right that was coming out this way, then you would just bring your contour up on top of it and then contour down here, not on top, right here. So it's like on kind of adjacent from one another so that it just kind of evens out your nose. Isn't that cool? Contour can do so many incredible things. But now you can see on this side of my face how much more lifted it is, how much more sculpted my jawline is and my forehead compared to over here where I've created way too low. And then this is too high. So what I'm doing, rather than accentuating my cheekbone, I've accidentally, really accentuated this area of my face, as well as given myself a double chin. So those are some really big do's and don'ts of contour placement that will make the world of difference when it comes to doing your makeup. I just can't with with this double chin of mine. I will never contour my face like that ever again. It just makes so much difference. So I'm going to leave it. Actually, I'm going to show you a couple more ways that you can use your contour. But just know that this is the do's and don'ts. Now I'm just going to wipe this away and I'm going to contour this properly so that we don't need to see that second chin anymore. See how quick I fixed that? And that's the thing with this makeup is even if you do make a little mistake when you're doing your makeup, it's like, oh, well, I can easily fix that. It's not a big deal. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to lift this contour up. So I've just gone back over it with my highlight. And I'm going to bring this up much higher so that we're accentuating those cheekbones and then blending up. Okay, we're getting a little bit more evened out here. Then I'm going to bring a little bit more highlight in here, lift up that contour that I placed so far down, and we're a little bit more even now. Okay, now a couple more ways that you can use your contour. This is so fun because you really can just have it so versatile and multifunctional. Yes, for sure, Laura. Feel free to message me and I can help you with that. Okay, so I am going to use my line brush. I was telling somebody the other day that my boys were playing with my makeup, as you saw in the video the other day, and they unscrewed the spoolie from the top of this. So normally it has a really nice little spoolie, but I'll just show you this brush. You can use your contour to go in and fill in your brows. So I'm just going to take this contour here and I'm going to use my line brush. I'm first kind of tracing out my brow, the top and the bottom. I find that tracing it out is so much more handy or helpful because otherwise I was just finding that my brows were getting away on me. Like I've just had bushy brows all of a sudden and I did not mean it. Then because of the shape of this brush, you can just go in and make these little hair strokes. I'm looking in my mirror because it's very hard to have this picked up in my phone. And I'm just gonna go in here, fill in all of these little sparse areas. Just like this. And that is how I fill in my brow. And you can use your contour like that. But see what a difference it makes from either eye. It lifts up this side of your face, fills in all of those sparse areas, and really helps accentuate your face. I'm going to find a little spoolie that I do have here, and then I'm going to just brush this out just to make it look a little bit more natural. So that's another way that you can use your contour. When you're being color matched, that's something that's being taken into account. Excuse me, is not just your skin tones, but also your hair and your brow color. Now, it might be that your contour color, just based on your skin tone, might not work perfectly. Excuse me, I've got like a little fuzzy. So I'll drink coffee. If that happens, then talk to myself, or if you're just watching and you have another artist, check with them, and we can help you find the correct color. It might be that you just need a different contour color, or we also have some other options just by using like different eyeshadow shades or whatever, just to fill in. Okay, let's not be too perfectionistic about these brows. We've got other things that we gotta work on. So brush those out. We got our brows filled. All is well in the world. I just think it's so crazy that you could use your contour for this. Another way you can use your contour is to make your lips appear fuller. So I know I've shown this before, but if you are new and you haven't seen this, I'll do it again. This is a nice little trick that I like to use to make your lip look a lot fuller. So I'll just take my multitasker brush, the small end, just tap it a little bit into my contour. And I'm going to bring this along the outside of my lip. So you don't want to go, I'm going to show you on this side. If you go in, it's actually making my lip look smaller. So if you go on the outside, and then I'm going to blend it, it's going to create that shadow underneath your lip to make it look so much fuller. And some ladies like to keep this line nice and dark. I prefer to really blend mine in so it's just a very faint shadow. And some of you watching might not look like this look at all, and that's totally fine. You don't have to do this, but this is just another way that you can use your contour. Then I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to blend it down into my lip. I don't want to blend it up. There's no need for the appearance of a 5 o'clock shadow. I don't think that's any of us are going for that look. I don't think. There. I've got like, I'm just natural lip, but it's a little bit poutier and a little bit of a fuller looking lip just by using contour. Incredible. Okay, one more way that you can use your contour. I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger and I'm going to use it as an eyeshadow. So I'm just placing it over my entire lid and I'm going to use it as my base color. Then I'm going to go in afterwards and just add a few extra colors. And I might as well just finish my makeup since I'm here. But this has shown you all the different ways that you can use contour. Is your mind blown? My mind was blown when I first saw all of these different ways to do it. Okay, eyeshadow brush, where are you? I'm going to go in with Drift onto the inside. Like this. I am using the color Ash for my contour, for those of you wondering. And then, isn't that such a pretty base color? Just by using your contour color in there. And then I'm gonna go in and use a little bit of Sedona. It's such a pretty warm brown. There we go. How simple was that eye? And all it took was 2 additional colors on top of your contour color. So Sedona, Drift, and then my main contour color. So place that in there. There we go. Easy, easy peasy. I'm going to just use a little bit of blush and or lip cheek color. Really help just finish up this makeup look. Might as well just finish it all the way up. But that is how you do your contour. So if you have questions, let me know. You can always send me a message in my inbox if you have more specific questions just to you. I'm using the color Madrid on my cheeks. It is such a beautiful color. It's kind of been my go-to for this summer. I kind of get into, like, we have so many lip and cheek colors, but it's like once I find one color that I love, I just wear the heck out of it. So if you've seen me wearing kind of a peachy corally color this summer, it's probably been Madrid. I just brought, if you're wondering what I just did, I blended out my blush a little bit too high to my eye. I didn't love that, so I just put on a little bit more highlight. And then I'm just going to go in and I'm also going to use that same color on my lip. This is a really pretty matte color. So once I'm done with this, I'm actually going to pop just a little bit of my cream illuminator right in the center. This is just going to play up that kind of poutier or plumper looking lip while also giving it just a little bit of shimmer. So this is the color Angel that I'm using, and I'm also going to use a little bit of Angel right on the tops of my cheekbones. So now that we've used the contour to really show that contrast and that dimension, Now I'm just going back in with this illuminator, which really just, see how it just catches the light? And so that light is drawing down onto the top of the cheekbone that I just pushed up. It is really amazing once you just learn the proper placement, how much you can change the way that your makeup looks. And I was actually just talking to someone who had just started using Saint, and they were just learning, and we're a little bit discouraged because they were like, my makeup just doesn't look like yours. And I just had to remind them, you've been wearing your makeup 2 times, and I've been doing this for 3.5 years. So even though I'm not a professional by any means, I've just had a lot more practice. And my first couple attempts at trying this new way of doing makeup, they were still pretty, just like all of anybody who starts. But they definitely did not look like this from the beginning, just because I was still unsure of the proper placement technique. So just know that if you are just new with your makeup and you're a little bit discouraged because it's not coming out exactly like maybe how I'm doing, or maybe another artist that you're following is doing it, do not give up. Please don't give up. I actually sent that lady a photo of my first before and after photo and of like a current one, because I just said, can you imagine if I had given up just having tried it once or twice? Like, I would not have fallen in love with my face and my, not that I hadn't fallen in love with my face before, but you know what I mean. I hadn't fallen in love with this and getting out of bed in the morning and being able to kind of play with makeup, because I hadn't given myself enough practice. So that is just a little encouragement to you. And of course, you can always reach out to me too, and I can help you individually too with your own techniques. So there we go. I'm just throwing on my mascara. If you need a color match, you can text 204-400-1200. Just text #ShadeMatch. That's all you need. And I will send you the info of what you need for a color match. You can also just send me a quick DM too, and I can send you the info there if you'd prefer not to text. And I can get you matched to all the correct shades. That is really the biggest thing when getting started with this type of makeup, is to be matched to the correct colors. I think that's one thing that the majority of us who do our makeup feel unsure about, is that we're getting the right colors. In any makeup, even if you're walking into Sephora or you're just local drugstore, is like, is this the right color? I'm not sure. I think I'll try it. So that's what's so great about this, is that you can work with somebody who is very experienced with picking the right colors for you, so that you know and you feel confident right from the get-go that what you've got is what you need. So I'm just going to set my makeup a little bit with this Vanilla Dust setting powder. And we are done. Now this took, like half an hour today as I was showing you this all and all this stuff. But this whole face that I just did typically takes me about 8 minutes in the morning. Because it's just so simple and so easy. Thank you so much, Lori. I so appreciate you saying that. Ladies, if you need any help, send me a DM. If you're just joining in at the end of this, I will be reposting the replay so I can show you all the do's and don'ts of doing your contour well. And otherwise, have a great rest of your week. Bye.